Good morning everyone, welcome back to Hearthstone. We're heading into the arena and I've got a run primed and set to go. We're playing Rogue this time. Mostly because Rogue is actually a pretty good class, and B, I would like to improve my Rogue skills a little bit. Shady Dealer is probably the pick here. And quite a level above the other cards over there. Fan of Knives ain't bad. Leper Gnome is pretty disastrous at the moment, so definitely not picking that. I think I'll pick the Tomb Spider though. Excuse me, that will definitely add some late game power to the deck, and that's pretty good. Tinker's Sharp Sword Oil. That's a nice card. I'm not sure it will be worth it for us right now, and I'm inclined to take the 1-drop with upside in Clockwork Gnome, because that's a decent combo enabler at the very least. These cards are all awful, so let's go for the Rocketeer, which at least has some slight upside. Twisted Worgen is not awful. Zealous Initiate might also be a pick, but is very, very unimpressive late. Although it definitely has some value, and I can see the appeal in a different, well, mostly a different class, a minion-focused deck, I would say, even though every deck is minion-focused in the arena. I'm probably underrating this card, but I'll pick the Worgen here. We could do some mech stuff, but I'm definitely not picking the Technician over the Spider Tank as long as we don't have enough of those. So, Spider Tank, definitely okay. Bloodsoul Raider is usually, well, can usually be a 3/3 for 2, which is I think better than the Squirming Tentacle over here, even though this card is probably decent. Adventure Mercenary, I think we can do better for some big stuff, but I do definitely like the card. If these cards were any worse, then I would probably, yeah. Backstab, very good. Happy to see it. Murloc Raider, Fen Creeper. I think the upside on Direwolf Alpha, it's proven its worth in the past few arenas, so definitely taking that. Sunwalker, pretty awesome, even taking it over Matter Bomber, I think. Well, even though this is also a pretty good card, but I think this Sunwalker is definitely better than that. Taking the Zombie Chow over the second Backstab. Probably would have taken the first Backstab over the first Zombie Chow, though. A big finisher, I think we can use a big finisher. And Lance Carrier isn't too impressive that I would take it over it. Yeah, Force Tank Max is pretty good. It's a very, very decent card. As is the Tomb Pillager, but I haven't seen enough removal yet that I would pass up on a Shadow Strike, I feel. That seems really greedy to me. We can probably take a 5. 5 is pretty good. We don't have any dragons yet, so definitely not looking at the Blackwing Corruptor here. And Squirming Tentacle, while not awesome, I will definitely take a good 5 over it. Abusive Sergeant is decent, Spectral Knight is not awful, and Evil Heckler is also decent. But I think we can make a somewhat acceptable aggressive curve here with the abusive, and it will help us trade up. So I definitely like the card. I'm not sure if we're going too low on the curve though. Let's take it for now, but let's be mindful that we probably want to improve our curve a little bit. Eviscerate or Backstab? I think I'll take the Eviscerate over the second Backstab. But again, I would probably take the first Backstab over the first Eviscerate. Let's see. Bone Guard Lieutenant is decent. We don't have a lot of 2-drops, although rogues don't need a lot of 2-drops. So I could take the Squirming Tentacle here, but we already, well, I think the Bone Guard is actually good enough here. It's enough better than the Tentacle that I would take it over it. Actually, the Tentacle does have Awkward. No, I'll take the Vanguard Lieutenant, just because it's better in a vacuum, I think. Do we have any other mechs beside the Spider Tank? Because I'm looking at the Clockwork Knight or the Stormwind Knight. And if we can get enough mechs going, we have a Clockwork Gnome and the Spider Tank and a Force Tank Max, I suppose, but that's a bit too much magical Christmas land here for me. Stormwind Knight is decent, but I do like the Clockwork Knight a lot here. We don't have enough force though, so definitely taking the 4 over the 5 in that case. Polluted Hoarder is okay. We could go for the Death Lord here, or perhaps the Crazed Alchemist. The one-eyed cheat is not going to happen, I think. Yeah, that's just going to die to basically everything. So question here is Death Lord or Crazed Alchemist, and I think the Death Lord in a slowish format like we're in right now, Death Lord is just too much of a risk. Maiden of the Lake or Capture Jormungar. We're 2/3 in and we have 5 semi-big cards. I think we can use another one, and I don't think the Maiden is too impactful that I would skip a big card for it. Capture Jormungar is not awful. Definitely taking the Ooze here. Gotta be careful with not taking too many 2s. Could go for the Gorilla Bot, but that might also be a little optimistic. I don't like taking another 2 here, though. But it's a good 2, up against a bad 7 and a semi-decent 4, but we don't have enough mechs to support it, I think. Let's take the Auto Barber, and if we find another mech synergy card, then we might be able to take it. Kodo I like. Yes, taking the second Eviscerate, pretty sure about that. These are not all 2s, by the way. The Direwolf is probably not a 2, the Eviscerates are not 2s, so it's probably still okay. Aberrant Berserker, not awful. Harvest Golem, I think? Yes. 3 more cards to go. We could go with another Tomb Spider. That's actually also a late game card, so that's not awful. We've got 1, 2, 3 3-drops. That might be a bit on the low side, even though this is not really a 3-drop. I like the Tomb Spider enough that I will take it over the Silverhand Regent, I think. Another Spider Tank, so we could have gone for the Mech Synergy. Kinda miffed that I didn't take the Discover one. But that's... yeah, we're just going to have to deal with that. I like another 3-drop though, and an Epic in Hobgoblin. Hobgoblin's not doing anything. Frost Giant is really bad, and Naga Sea Witch is also quite bad, but at least it's a 5/5 for 5. And we can just not play it if we have a lot of cheap cards in hand. It's not really a 5/5 you want to play on 5, unless you have something big in hand, I suppose. We can make that work. Frost Giant is just going to be an 8/8 for 8, I think, so not really that amazing. Let's go with the Sea Witch and see how this turns out. Let's go. Any expectations about this deck? We do have some decent removal. We have a Shadow Strike, a Backstab, and 2 Eviscerates, so that's pretty good. No exceptionally rogue cards, I think. Besides those, we should reasonably be... we should be able to reach like 6 wins with this. I'm being a little cautious, mostly because I haven't played Rogue in Arena for a while, and I've seen some pretty ridiculous decks lately. As you can see in my last Arena run, the Warlock one, that was quite some resistance from our opponents there. Could consider keeping Kodo, but that might be ridiculous. It's always going to be good value against a Shaman, though. But I might run into curve problems. I'll throw away the Eviscerate and keep the Kodo, even though this is kinda greedy. I think we can get away with it.
The pleasure is mine.
And coining a Kodo against a Shaman is going to be pretty damn good, I think. Let's start out with the Chow.
The pleasure is mine.
And see what our opponent comes up with. Even if it has... yeah, that might be a reason to keep the Eviscerate, actually. But this is still a decent trade, and we can play 2 1-drops, which is pretty good. Pretty good, except if he has exactly Forked Lightning. I would still be okay with that. He's passing on turn 3. We're losing 2 cards though. That's going to be rough. Earthshock, the Clockwork Gnome. That's okay with me. So we can Twisted Worgen here if all else fails. That's probably okay. Could coin for a hero power, but I would rather coin for a Kodo if given the opportunity. No, that's not going to get Kodoed, but... Oh, and there's the Forked Lightning. Okay, is that a top deck? Wow. That is actually really rough. Stonewind Knight is okay here. We can still destroy a totem next turn with the Kodo, and perhaps we're getting some better value out of it. I don't hate it. I don't hate it. But that Forked Lightning was really good for him. I'll admit. He's got some pretty good cards in there. Yep, Shaman is really picking up this this arena season. Kind of scary. There's a lot of good Shaman cards out there. Oh, that's not good for him though. So we basically, if we draw something huge, then I can just Naga Sea Witch here, which is also not awful. It's kind of a risk. I still have the coin in hand, but. He might be incentivized to get rid of it, and we can still drop the Sunwalker next turn. Or shall we just get some Kodo value? No, I think we can do better with the Kodo, you know? And he might be really scared about this thing. Because if we, for example, draw a Force Tank Max next turn, that's going to be a real killer. Well, of course, if I drop something huge with this and he has a Hex in hand... Okay, well, I kinda made him overreact, and if this is a 4, it is not a 4. That's unfortunate, and we can't Kodo that. But we do have the Sunwalker here, which is still pretty awesome. I could also Shadow Strike that, and then and then Hero Power with the Bone Guard. I'm not the biggest fan here. This Stonewind Knight is doing work though. Definitely good here. Here's to hoping he doesn't have a Hex though. I think if he had a Hex, he wouldn't have rushed to get rid of the Naga Sea Witch. Although I suppose if his best play after that is to... Ooh. Oh, he heals it. Okay, that's interesting. So we could Shadow Strike and Eviscerate here. That sounds pretty good to me. Let's see, we can run this in and then Hero Power it down. And then we have Shadow Strike and Eviscerate for this one. Yep, seems good. Seems good. Okay, we can't squeeze in a Bone Guard Lieutenant there, can we? If we Bone Guard Lieutenant Hero Power, then we can't Eviscerate the Ogre. If he runs the Kodo into this, then that might be acceptable though.
Justice shall prevail.
Let's see, this always happens, and I can consider doing this for the Hero Power and then still I can Shadow Strike and trade the 2/2. That saves the Eviscerate. I like that. I like that.
Here we go.
Trading the 2/2 sounds nice. Yes. And here's to hoping there's something to be Kodoed, because I didn't hang on to that card for so long for nothing. So please play something like a Rumbling Elemental, or... No, that is not what I'm looking for. May have to Eviscerate something here. Ooh, that's actually not awful. May still want to Eviscerate something, but if his best play is this, then we could start the Greed Machine here. How is that? How does the Greed Machine sound? We can still Kodo, but I would like to at least destroy a totem with it. Would it not be better to just get it out there, though? That's a real consideration. I think this is still valuable, though. We have a 5-1 taunt. I don't think he has a great answer to this. So I'm kind of taking a risk here. But then again, where do we go without taking a little risk every once in a while? Sparing the Kodo for now, but this might be the wrong call. Also plays around mind control tech incidentally. But I suppose if I played the Kodo, then I would have traded the 5-1, wouldn't I? Oh, that's not good. That is not good. I would go as far as to say as that's pretty bad for us. But we can raise him here, I think. We can probably raise him here. Let's see. Get some damage in. And Kodo. We can Kodo the totem, that's not awful. And just present lethal for next turn. Do we still present lethal for next turn? That's a great question. With 4, I don't think so, but we should be getting pretty close. We've got the 7. Let's say we've got 9. So then a hero power will kill him after that. Taunt is kind of awful though. We haven't drawn any of our big stuff yet, except the Kodo, I think. Oh, and the Sea Witch, I guess. That's some big stuff on the table though. What is that card in your hand? Ooh, that's not good. That is really, really not good for us. Oh, there's our big stuff though. So that's something at the very least. I'm thinking it's a bit too late. Can we race? I think racing is our only option here. We still got this coin here. Well, at least we can coin and eviscerate if we need it, right? Jormungandr.
Here we go.
And face. Let's see if we can top deck and eviscerate. That's Sea Giant, boy. That's Sea Giant. That's not going to end well. Oh, and a healing totem. That's not helping. Okay, so we pretty much need an eviscerate at this point. So we're not going to win it like this. Oh, and that also counts. Alright. Phew! Okay, that was actually kind of close, I'll admit. I'll admit that was actually kind of close. But that was an out I didn't think of. Alright, well, let's go into game 2. That was exciting, certainly. So we definitely want to be on the tempo side of things, but I guess that's okay. We can't outvalue the average deck, but we can outtempo them and make the best of the limited value that is in our cards. So that could be okay. Definitely not keeping this one, and Clockwork Gnome. Clockwork Gnome might be acceptable. If she coins out a hero power, I think I'm okay with that. The card is not going to get any better. But I'm not sure if that's a great excuse to keep it in your opener. That's a consideration. But we'll see about this. If she coins a hero power, I'm fine with it. And if she does not, then at least we get some damage in or force the hero power next turn, so that's okay. Give your weapon +1 attack, so I might just want to weapon up here, but that's really slow. Does give me an answer to a possible minion next turn, though. Could also Blood Seal here. Does that offer me the same opportunities? Well, this always hits face. And I do think getting a little more value out of my cards is going to be important here. Keeping the weapon because of the auto barber, and we'll see what she does here. Okay, so in that case we play Bloodsoul Raider and possibly see what kind of strat art we have here. That's going to be useful at some point. Oh, and this is going to be more useful than the Bloodsoul Raider, I'd say. We've got quite the mech deck going here, actually. I'm really miffed about not picking up that Gorilla Bot and not picking the Clockwork Knight over what did we pick Clockwork Knight over? I don't remember. Wait, she discovered a Death Row card, and yet she's still playing a Raptor without the effect. And her hand must be really heavy, I think. That's bad for us. But we can eviscerate here, and that should leave us in a pretty good position, I'd say. So I don't hate that. Could also ignore the board, but that seems like a horrible idea. Let's just eviscerate here for tempo. And definitely not hit face. This weapon is going to be valuable still. Okay, let's see it. We should keep in mind positioning with regards to betrayal. So that means if I play the Raider next turn, it's going on the left side, with the board being what it is right now. And if I play the Silverhand Knight, that also needs to go on the left side, I think. Is that coin eviscerate and then hero power that down? Okay. Okay. Caught up nicely, I would say. Caught up nicely. But we can still deal with this. We can probably attack face with the Auto Barber here, and that means we're playing... are we worried about her getting a free trade on the 2-2? I don't think I care, because that leaves the Hunter at 1 health, so we can dagger that down. It's going to be a little awkward regardless, I think. We could also play the Polluted Hoarder, but in that case we have to trade. That doesn't seem too good. We could Bloodsoul Raider and Boneguard Lieutenant, which is also... No, let's go with this.
Here we go.
Definitely want to get rid of the 1-1, because that's the plus a dagger trades for a 2 health guy. But this is still fine. Shadow Strike a 4-4, that's probably okay. 2-3 into 2-2 is the... she just makes a trade. That's also fine with me. And if that's her turn, then I'm not too worried right now. We could Tempo Ooze. Am I worried? Well, I do want to get some value out of my Pirate, I guess. If I want to be careful about Betrayal, where do I position? I think the 3 health person goes in the... No. This always dies, right? So it goes on the side. And then the Bloodsoul Raider goes right. Yeah, it doesn't really matter. We're pretty much always playing both of these.
If you insist.
No use in using the dagger yet, but we do have to consider getting some face damage in at some point in the nearby future. Saps the Bloodsoul Raider. That's really slow. I would definitely sap the Loot Hoarder here, but I could be wrong about that. So that means I can trade the Whirling Blade along with the Loot Hoarder for the 5-5. I think that's acceptable. I have no intention in leaving that up. And she's curiously keeping hold of the dagger, which I'm not sure why. But we can draw a card here, so we probably should, right? Because this is likely to always happen. Okay, well we have a pirate, so that's pretty good, I'd say. I can definitely agree with that. Let's mind the positioning, and let's go ahead and play it. Because this is a 5-4, and that's pretty good. Seems pretty strong so far. This presents 11 damage, so we have lethal with the Stormwind Knight. There's no use in using the dagger here. I was tempted to use the ooze to remove her dagger, because she seems to really attached to it, for some odd reason. Okay, the Belcher's going to die to the 5-4 and the dagger, I guess. Probably the best trade we're going to get, yes. And it means the remainder is going to go face, so that means possible 8 damage.
It's a deal.
It's still acceptable. We do need to worry about building the board a little bit, so I think oozing the dagger here is valuable. Oh.
Well played.
He might just be a little annoyed with us playing very, very carefully. But don't let that fool you. I think we had that game in the bag, indeed. Unless she had some pretty good cards in hand. Could have been the case, but we definitely want to tempo out as much as possible. As we've gathered from the first few games. Alright, going strong so far. So definitely not disappointed in that. Another shaman is a little concerning, but having 2 3s is good. Having an eviscerate against the totem golem is good. The Stormwind Knight has to go. But these are both very solid 3s, so not unhappy to see those. Curve is going to be a little awkward if I have to eviscerate a totem golem, though. Definitely hanging on to the coin for now.
Greetings, friend.
Alright, totem first. That's probably good news for us. We could weapon, but that's a little slow. I kinda like playing the Harvest Golem here. So we can still eviscerate in 2 turns, and he doesn't have a totem golem, or he would have played one right now. Harvest Golem is a little tougher to get rid of by, for example, storm cracking or crackling or whatever. So we're pretty likely to be able to remove the totem right now, and if he rockbiters, then that's okay. Rockbiter's one I hadn't thought of yet, but that's excellent as far as I'm concerned. And a 1-1 totem dies to a hero power, or we might just choose to ignore it, which I'm not a big fan of. It's actually a little unfortunate, because it does force the hero power right now. And leaves us with precariously little in the form of board control if we just dagger here. So I don't like that. I'll let him make the trade and just play the spider tank here. I should be more careful in positioning when I have a direwolf in hand, though. Yeah. So with regards of that, I can't get rid of that this turn, so it will trade into the spider tank. And with that in mind, I would like to improve my dagger. That still seems like an acceptable trade. Yes. Oh, I can actually make the trade myself, but that's only bad against Forked Lightning? I'm not sure I'm worried about that right now. This is still okay. It's the trade he's going to make regardless. So why give him the opportunity to do something horrible? Not sure what. Probably something involving Lightning Storm, I would guess. We can eviscerate here. Not sure I'm the biggest fan. Let's just check what comes out here. That's actually really awkward. At least it dies to this, and I don't like it. Silverhand Knight probably fine. Not going to attack that. I was kinda hoping for a 3-2 there, but maybe I should have... No, I couldn't play the Silverhand Knight if I did that. Okay, so we're daggering that, and then Shadow Striking it, taking a lot of damage to the face, but we are assuming board control. So that's good in that regard. Bloodsteel Raider, pretty good with a 2 strength weapon on, so I'm okay with this.
Here we go.
Shadow Strike's a pretty good card if it clears. I'm pretty glad I picked that one. And we're up against a pretty strong opponent, I would say. Some pretty good cards in his deck so far. But this looks like a commanding board position, so as long as he doesn't Lightning Storm us, I think we're okay with this. What comes out for 5? Azure Drake. That's also a pretty good card. Well, if possible, I would like to hang on to this... What am I saying? To this Acidic Swamp Ooze, because he might still have a weapon. Shamans don't have a lot of them. But they do have a number of pretty decent ones. We could Direwolf and Weapon. That seems like a really weak turn now. How about we Direwolf, Weapon, Ooze? Don't like that too much. We could Sunwalker. That's a bit brave. We haven't really played anything that's worth hexing yet. But if he hexes this, then I think I'm okay with it. Mostly since that means he won't be hexing my Force Tank. So that's good enough. And if he hexes, Earth Shock is probably fine. I mean, I don't have to like it, but the Sunwalker still trades against the Azure Drake, so that's reasonably okay. I'm expecting some kind of Bloodlust at this point, so we probably want to be careful about it. Probably have to kill this. That's a little unfortunate, but we're running the 2/2 into there, so that's probably fine. We can Direwolf and put up a decent clock. Or, if his best answer to Sunwalker is a Hex, we can just Force Tank. But that leaves us unable to Eviscerate. I don't like that. I really want to Eviscerate this. Good face. Kill this guy. And play the Spider Tank. Doesn't matter. So in that case, place it to the left, I'd say. Against Shaman, it doesn't really matter too much. Most we have to keep in mind. Is he dead? He's dead unless that is a taunt item. That's pretty great. Alright.
Well played.
That was pretty good, I'd say. Yes, now you're dead unless that was a taunt item, and it's not.
Justice shall prevail.
There we go. Alright, 3-0. That is definitely not what I expected, but doing pretty well so far, surprisingly. But again, as long as you can keep the board control and have a few answers against huge stuff, then it's not going horribly so far. We'll give it one more game and then end this episode, and we'll continue in the next one. But first, let's see what the opposition has to offer. And if we're faring so well in the XNL brackets, then I'm pretty confident about what's yet to come. Expectation here is that we're going to be to face a better deck than ours. Well, I like most of these cards, actually. We have a Zombie Chow on 1, a Dagger, or a Shady Dealer on 2. I actually kind of like it. We have some answers, and I appreciate a hand with both. Well, Zombie Chow is not a threat, it's just an answer, basically. A preemptive answer. Or something that requires answers from your opponent, because otherwise you're trivializing their minions on the early turns. So don't hate that either. So far, 2 rogues, 2 shamans. Interesting. You don't see rogues too often in the arena, despite the fact that they're actually pretty good. Mostly because rogues are actually really tricky to play. I won't claim to be an expert on the matter. At any rate, but Rogue is consistently overperforming, so that I definitely like. And we probably want to make this trade here, and in that case we can either dagger up or coin out a shady dealer. If we do, then what's our follow-up? Our follow-up is actually not that great. And if we dagger, then our next turn is actually going to be pretty good. So let's make this trade, dagger up, and take the advantage in that way. Her throwing away an auto barber like that is mildly concerning though. But here we can answer with either a shady dealer or an auto barber plus eviscerate, and I think I like that option. Would require the coin, but then we have 4 mana next turn and we don't have anything to play next turn on 4 mana. That's actually a little awkward. So in that case, we might consider just playing the shady dealer here. We don't have any pirates in hand anyway. So I think I'm okay with making this trade in favor of getting some more flexibility on later turns. Making the trade I wanted to make, so that's still pretty good. We can Shadow Strike that one, or we can Auto Barber Eviscerate it. Either is probably fine. I would prefer the Shadow Strike, and then I can coin out a Twisted Worgen. I think I like that. Shadow Strike this one, and then coin out a Worgen, mostly because she can't immediately answer it. So that offers a more definite board presence than the Auto Barber does. And combined with the Auto Barber, we can now actually kill that, so that's good. We don't have a great play though. That's a little awkward. We can just leave it stealthed for now, actually. I don't hate that, and that means we can Tomb Spider. That seems okay. We can Tomb Spider here. It's going to die to the Yeti, but that means... oh, I was randomly clicking and almost picked a Stone Tusk Boar. I would like a Jungle Panther here, thank you. And no desire to hit that, no thanks. Her deck seems pretty solid so far. There's a lot of mechs in there, so I'm hoping for no Clockwork Knight or something similar. There's something flickering at the top of the screen. I'm not sure what's going on there. Give it Taunt, that's okay with me. Oh, she's comboing. Yeah, I was kind of expecting that one. Not that there's much I can do about that though. Well, I can eviscerate it actually. What does that leave us with for the rest of the turn? Precariously little. So we don't have to kill it this turn. How about that? If we don't kill it this turn, then what do we play? We're playing Auto Barber always, just so we're able to kill the Yeti here. Oh, and then we can stealth it. How's that? And we have a board full of stealth. Oh, that can't possibly go wrong, can it? I kinda like it, though. I kinda like it. That gives us the opportunity to easily kill it next turn. And does actually provide us with some board presence. Alright. Taking it slowly here. This is a dangerous path. But I think I like it. We do have some semblance of board control here, which is more than I would have hoped for, seeing the card quality we're faced with. Please don't Blade Flurry me. Oh, this is not a Blade Flurry. That's oh my gosh, all the mechs. I'm hoping she doesn't have any mech synergies because we are getting wrecked if she does. Okay, so we can kill this with a dagger. We can run this into here and eviscerate, and then we can trade this one and still have the 3/2 left over. And that means we can Silverhand Knight. She has a 2 dagger though. How about I do this? Oh, I can't combo that with the Eviscerate though. Haha! Almost, almost made a terrible mistake. We can actually keep this this stealth if we use the reversing switch. But we don't have a great play otherwise. Okay. We're going to play the Silverhand Knight, I guess.
Attend me.
Eviscerate this. And trade this in. Face tank this one. And trade this one into here. In a deck that has that many mechs, I'm expecting some mech synergies to come out. And once the... what's it called? The Iron Sensei comes out, or perhaps... What else am I scared of? Gorilla Bots, Iron Senseis mostly. Perhaps Tinkertown Technicians. I don't know what to expect here. But it's all going to be terrible anyway. Everything's going to be terrible. Play something small here. That does not qualify, I'm sorry. Does not compute. So we have to hero power there. And trade the 2-2 and the 4-4 in. Oh, this is horrible. We could just trade the 4-4 if we reversing switch, but that's still awful. Kodo does nothing. We can just force tank and do nothing. How's that? We do have to ping off the Divine Shield though. So in that case, we're always face tanking this, I think.
Here we go.
And then we could reversing switch. Actually, if I run this into here, then reversing switch and then Kodo. I don't hate it. I don't hate it. It preserves the 2-2 and it does something with the Kodo. And she probably can't kill both the 4-1 and the 2-2. So it's a way to make use of the Kodo's Battle Cry, first of all. To lure a Shadow Strike out, which is not awful. She kills the 4-1, and we have a 2-2 left on the field. Well, it's okay. It's okay. Best I can expect right now. Okay, so we are adding cards, that's something, and if we play... we can't combo the Sea Witch, do remember. So we could do Aberrant Berserker and Eviscerate. Just take it a little slow with the cards. That protects the 2-2 mostly. That's actually a little awful. Otherwise we're throwing either one of these to the wolves, but I guess I'm okay with that. Because that means I can probably play a Force Tank and another card next turn, so that's probably okay. I think it's time to go aggressive. I did not think about Betrayal, but I think this is almost correct. I should have placed the 3-5 on the left, but it doesn't seem to matter right now. And goes aggressive. Interesting. We are able to kill the 4-4 now, right? Yes, we can still Force Tank and Eviscerate the 4-4, and then we just have to survive the 4-6 for a little bit. But we can deal 5 to face, so the Force Tank plus another minion would likely do it here. I definitely want to place the Force Tank right now, do I? Yes. Let's do it this way.
You insist.
We're not going to trade into the Spectral Knight. That's never going to work out for us, I think. Let's hope for not another... oh, that's a sap. That's actually pretty good. Pretty killer, actually. Might be the death of us. Is that an Eviscerate face? I can't imagine that being the right play, but I can't imagine us surviving this anyway, so... we don't have any healing in the deck, do we? No, we don't. No, we don't. That's pretty killer. Oh, actually, Actually, that's a card. that is actually a card that might win us the game. Alright. There's no way we're running the 3-5 into the 4-6, is there? I could have considered that for longer than half a second. No, I don't think so. But yeah, that's a top deck. Alright, I'm pretty happy with that. That better be an Assassinate or another Sap, and I don't think the chance is too likely.
My shield for Argon.
Oh, well, that's not... Yeah, that is still well played. That is definitely still well played. No, it... Yes, it is. Oh, I was a little worried there. Oh, that deck was insane! Wow, I can't believe I beat that. Oh gosh, what are we going to face? What are we going to face next round? It's going to be horrible. Alright, well, see you again next time, and hope to see you then. Bye.